I am indeed, Gordon, and whatever else happens in the parliamentary careers of the four MPs I've got, they were all on the same side last night. That probably, to tell the truth, will never happen again. You'll see why when I introduce the panel to you this afternoon. For the SNP, Kirsty Blackman; for Labour, Leslie Laird; Christine Jardine for the Liberal Democrats; and Ross Thompson for the Conservatives. Ross, I'll begin with you first. Why did you feel the need to vote against your own government and help inflict the biggest defeat on a Prime Minister in modern history?
I couldn't vote for the deal last night because I didn't think it was in the national interest to do so. I am a unionist first and foremost, and I could not vote for a plan that would treat Northern Ireland like a third country within our United Kingdom, imposing a regulatory border down the Irish Sea. Now that Parliament has overwhelmingly rejected that proposal, I believe that it's intrinsic on the Prime Minister to go back to Brussels to now get a better deal and to tell the EU that you really let us down with your intransience. And if you want a deal in this Parliament and you want to avoid no deal, then the backstop needs to be ditched.
Okay, Christine Jardine, you voted against the deal, probably not for the same reasons totally.
No, I voted for completely different reasons. It's not a good deal. There is a better deal, and that deal is called being a member of the European Union. It was the biggest and embarrassingly large defeat for any government. But I think we need to take that, and if Theresa May is genuine about wanting to talk to other parties, then first she has to take no deal off the table, and she has to admit that the way forward is a people's vote, and then we can have realistic talks about how we move away from this debacle. The vote of confidence this afternoon, I have no confidence in this government, but frankly, I have no confidence that a general election and a Labour government would be different.
Leslie Laird, the same question to you. Why was what Theresa May came up with so bad that you said there is no way I can support this, when in fairness some of your own colleagues, not a huge number of them, thought differently?
Well, our position has been clear, which is we have basically set out our 6 tests. We have said that part of those 6 tests and part of what we are looking for out of this deal is a customs union, a single market relationship, and that workers' rights and environmental rights are protected. We clearly have the concerns and the same issues around the Irish backstop, and clearly from all of these perspectives this is just not a good deal. But you know, we talked there about intransigence, but intransigence is what's got us to where we are now. It's got us there through the relationship that Theresa May cultivated with the EU. And even today at Prime Minister's questions, despite last night losing such a historic vote, there was absolutely no sign whatsoever that the hand of friendship was being extended across the chamber. Yet again, we could see red lines being drawn, quite frankly, across everything that would be more likely to bring people across to engage in that discussion. And frankly, she just hasn't reached out to people already. A day after that vote, people have still not been reached out.
Kirsty Blackman, I don't think anyone will be surprised that the SNP could not go in the same lobbies as a number of Conservatives.
Yeah, we didn't support the deal on the basis that, do you know what, any Brexit is bad. The people of Scotland voted overwhelmingly to remain, and remaining in the EU would be in our very best interests. And I agree with Christine in that the Prime Minister should now, the first thing she should do is extend Article 50. She should go back to the EU and ask for that to happen so that a people's vote can happen. If she can't get her deal through the House of Commons and she believes that it's the only deal and the best deal, she should put it to the people. She should give them the choice between that deal and remaining in the EU.
Ross Thompson, we know what you didn't like about it. How do we get to a position whereby there can be a deal that goes through the Houses of Parliament that you and your 3 parliamentary colleagues here can all coalesce around? Is it possible?
Well, not entirely. You know, Christine just said in her answer that we should stay in the European Union. That betrays the referendum results. So the Liberal Democrats should drop Democrat from their party title because we accept referendum results. Labour, I don't know what their position is. They're in the customs union, out the customs union, in the single market, out the single market, for a people's vote, against the people's vote. I mean, they've had more positions than the Kama Sutra. So trying to get a deal is going to be very difficult with this lot, but there is a majority for a free trade agreement. The very deal that was offered by Tusk at the beginning. We can extend that to the UK so that we can come out of this single customs territory, have a comprehensive Canada-style free trade agreement, 0 tariffs, along with that comprehensive agreement on defence and security, research and science. That's what people want to see. And actually the numbers yesterday show there is a majority for that in that House of Commons. And it may be a small majority, but it is achievable.
Go on then, ladies, pitch in.
The thing is, Ross, But the Canada deal, we hear a lot about Norway. Even Norwegians don't like the Norway deal. And that
Yeah,
has to
so
be
we should
agreed
avoid it.
by EFTA. We're in a situation where your government has taken us into chaos. Now, it's up... Well, have you not looked around you?
No, the people.
Have you not looked
Canada's got a
around
deal.
you?
Japan just got a deal. The United Kingdom can achieve a deal.
Well, not from what your government have done so far. For 2.5 years, the Liberal Democrats have been consistent in saying that the best deal that we can have is
To
the
discount
one,
the referendum
is
result.
the one
Ignore
that
the
we have
referendum
in the
result.
European...
That's as bad as the SNP is
I
going.
did not
That's
say
as bad
that
as the
it's the
SNP.
best deal we can have. We have been campaigning as Liberal Democrats to put the final deal to the people's vote. It's not
So do
our
you support a
fault
second
that your
independence
government-
referendum?
It's
Do you
not
support
our
a second
fault.
independence
No, of course I
referendum?
don't.
Ross,
Why
Christine.
second
I let
EU
you
referendum?
finish.
Ross,
It's
Christine.
not our fault that
On
you
the-
haven't come up with a deal that can be put to the people.
I've
And no,
got a pathway for a
I'm a
better plan.
unionist.
Christine,
I'm a
Christine,
unionist.
we'll move
On
on.
the free trade agreement, if there is a free trade agreement will cost the people of Scotland £9 billion.
Yep.
It's a ridiculous
How much
amount
will
of money.
independence cost,
So
Kirsty? What were you
an
going to
awful
suggest
lot
in the
less.
That's not on the table.
Even the most unionist of commentators during the independence referendum said independence would cost us far less than £9 billion.
It's to stay in the
It
EU
is-
because they're our closest friends. The rest of the United Kingdom are
And we
Scotland's
would- we should-
closest friends,
and I would like
always
the
will
rest
be.
of the United
4
Kingdom to
times
remain in
much
the
more
EU
trade
as
is
well.
done with the rest of the UK.
I think that this is going to be bad for everybody. What Ross is putting forward is something that will damage us economically. And the other thing that he's not saying is about the fact that immigration will be reduced as a result of this, and that will
What
harm
we
us
need
as well.
here, and what this doesn't help, is actually what people want, which is to find what we can agree on and to ensure that we do deliver. We do have different views about what the approach would be, but just to clarify Labour's position,
What is
because
that?
it is absolutely clear. As a Democratic Party, if you follow our party conference motion, the steps are very clear and we've followed them. As a Democratic Party,
So will you be calling for people's vote next?
I'll clarify.
Will you be calling for people's
Christine,
vote
just
next?
let me finish and I'll step you through the process. The process is this. We have the vote of confidence, which was tabled last night, and we are through that today. We then move to the next stage, which is all options on the table, including the potential for a people's vote, a public vote.
Right.
And what we need to ensure, what we absolutely need to ensure as parliamentarians, is that we have fully exhausted the full weight of Parliament. The reason we asked for a meaningful vote was to give Parliament the option to try to bring that back. In my opinion, that is the process we're currently in. I think we all need to give that process a fair crack before we decide that
that's why we need that extension.
And that's why,
Kirsty,
and that's
Kirsty.
exactly what we're
we,
doing now.
and that's why
exactly
we need the
what we're doing.
extension of Article 50,
Well, that's what we're
so
doing
that
now.
we have got that process. So if Labour is supporting an extension of Article 50, so that we can have, those processes being exhausted, then that is fantastic. A no deal threat being on the table helps nobody, and it's only on the table because the Prime Minister's refused to take it off the table. So if Labour are willing to back that call for an extension of Article 50, I think that's a really great news, and I'm really pleased about that.
Well, what I've said is all options on the table, and we need
Does that
to
include a second
and we
independence
need,
referendum?
And we need to
Does it?
exhaust, and we
Christine,
need
and
to
then Ross.
exhaust, and we need to exhaust the current processes. And extending Article 50 is not something that this House can do just by itself.
No.
So we need to be honest with people about how complicated this is, and we need to be clear about the timescales and parameters around which all of us will be constrained by. That's an honest debate we need to have, because through this Brexit debate, that has not been the case for the British people.
Christine.
I'm delighted that you say that the Labour Party will back Article 50, but if we put...
I haven't said that. I've said I think it's the logical next step in relation to where we go, but we exhaust the current process.
So if we put on the table, in the next few days, on Monday, if we put on the table an extension of Article 50 in order to facilitate a people's vote, when the Prime Minister comes back from Brussels, because I'm assuming she will go, will the Labour Party back what more than 70 of your own colleagues have publicly said today? The Liberal Democrats have backed for 2.5 years.
Yes,
The Kirsty's party
absolutely.
have backed that the people here are calling for. Will the Labour Party say yes, we'll give the people the final say?
We will make that call when that situation presents
Ross,
itself.
is there not some logic if, as you can see, you are all split, the House of Commons are split, to saying for good governance, one way or another, actually now is the time to extend Article 50 to give us more time to get this sorted?
Parliament has legislated that we leave on the 29th of March this year. That is an act of Parliament,
It can
and
be
that
changed.
will happen. I think it'd be wrong to delay Brexit. I don't think the country here would be happy with it. And actually, what's quite interesting from the discussion you just had is that there's only one party that actually respects referendum results, and that's the Conservative Party. The SNP don't like it unless you give them the result that they want. Labour, all options on the table, and if that's a people's vote, that must include independents too. And 3, the Liberal Democrats who want to discount the vote because they know better, you got it wrong, so let's do it again. If you believe in delivering the mandate that is given to Parliament, the instruction that's given to Parliament, then there's only one party, one government in there.
Final word, Kirsty. Final word, Kirsty.
In 2016, during the referendum in 2016, people didn't even know that Theresa May would be Prime Minister. Never mind this deal would be the one that was presented to us. People did not have that knowledge. If Ross really believes that leaving is the best thing, he should allow this to go to a people's vote and make his case on the streets.
Would you respect that result? Would you? Because you've already had a referendum on independence, you're told no, and a referendum on Europe, and you're told to leave. Would you listen to the results? Would you enact the results?
These are really serious
We did not know 2.5 years ago some of the stuff that we've learned. People said it would be difficult.
Do you believe that in independence as well? Would you? Because the argument
You
you're
know
making
as well as
is the
I do.
argument that the
Okay,
SNP
folks,
have
And the
made.
argument that
we
you
will
make
leave
every
it
day
there.
about Brexit is the argument
We
they
will
make
leave
in
it
the
there.
United Kingdom.
No, it's not.
I believe in the United
Kirsty
Kingdom.
Right.
Leslie
This is why I
Laird,
voted for
Christine
Brexit.
Jardine and Ross Thompson, who are having their own private discussion there. Thank you, one and all. Thank you very much. We didn't even get on to the Kama Sutra. It's a funny old thing, Brexit, isn't it? The way it goes, Gordon.